This video is brought to you in part by TruTech Tools, quality tools, essential support. What's going on, guys? So I did a startup on this chiller and it's had several different problems. Well, the current problem is one TXV is bad and the other one's likely going bad.
Instead of wasting hours trying to cover things up, I'm gonna call this EXV a TXV. If that really drives you nuts and you gotta leave 10 comments down below, just stop the video and back on out.
So we've got to replace them. Now these are these new TXVs. You can see there that they're the inline type, which are really great. This is an R32 chiller, so we're recovering it. Technically, you should probably recover this into a recovery tank because the microchannels can't usually hold it, but we're like 60 degrees today, so I think we're gonna be able to get away with it. What we did is we went ahead and pulled liquid. Well, actually, I should say the first thing we did was valved off our liquid right there, and we valved off our suction back over right there. So now we're pulling off the suction and the liquid because they're isolated. We're sucking it out of there. First I did the liquid. Once the liquid was out, I started opening up the suction, pulled it into the machine, field piece to the rescue as usual, pumping it into the discharge of the same circuit. And this is R32, so I don't really want to have to lose any. Don't want no chance of contamination, so everything was bled all the way through all the hoses, and now we're just getting it pumped into the system. I'm watching my discharge there on the recovery machine, and we're at 270, so we're nowhere near pop off. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this if it was regular weather. If it was 80 degrees a day, I would recommend definitely recovering it into a tank. Right now, what we gotta do, once we get that recovered, we got to make sure that we get this thing unsoldered and resoldered, each circuit, each side here. They want no more than 15 seconds on it. Also, another thing I read that I had never noticed before, but you are not supposed to unhook the electrical line to the TXV while it's powered. I don't know why, but they mentioned it several different places on the instructions, so I would say don't do that. This TXV here has coils that are burning up, which is why it's going bad. There is some things that were changed that I can't go into. The valves are bad. They're out of the resistance range that they wanted. We had to go through all kinds of documentation to get this approved, and that's what we're doing now. All right, so it's shut off. Let's do the purge. That way we get it all out of the machine. All fancy. Close that. All good. So, see, that's all the more you lost out of the condenser. That's what's awesome about a recovery machine that actually has the self-purge. That used to be standard issue. Then as the things got cheaper and cheaper, they quit including things like that, but that's why that one's a little more money. Go ahead and undo our valve here. Also, I took my screws out of this filter dryer, so they will be able to be pulled apart. So here's something interesting. So we've got metric bolts for most everything in here, the covers and all that, but yet my filter dryer here, it's 1/2 inch. So like I said, we'll go ahead and get this yanked out. This is going to make sure we have no oil, relieve any pressure, make it a little more on the safer side of things. They want to purge through it, but the problem is I don't know if that TXV or that EXV actually is open or not, because like I said, it's defective. It doesn't want to open and close, which is the whole reason for changing it. Now, obviously, once we get it out, we're going to be purging through. We'll put everything back together. Ooh, yes, there's oil. That was kind of the worry there. We don't want to flame up on oil. And also today it was raining, which, for God's sakes, another thing you don't really want to do, but hey, I don't make the rules. Nothing smells bad, which is good, after I drop it into the leaves and everything else. Don't look horribly bad. Look at that, it's got a little filter. You know, they got felt above it, they got felt below it, and somebody was like, we ain't got none of those in ours. It's like, yeah, because some jackwagon took it out. So on this initial purge, I guess we can try purging nitrogen backwards through the suction back this way. That would work. Like I said, I wanted that completely out, and I do have my nitrogen right here. Hopefully there ain't a crap ton of oil on the other side of that. They wanted you to drill it to remove it. No real leeway here. I mean, you might be able to pull that off? I don't know. But I've decided I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here, which you're supposed to cut these out most of the time anyway. We're cut it right there. That'll keep everything intact for the motor, which is what they really want to look at for the warranty. And then we'll unsweat the other side. And then if it don't go back together, then we'll consider unbrazing some of these other pipes. I really don't want to, but I don't need to. It's one more leak point and everything else. So normally this is a no-no. And if you guys have watched any of my other videos, what I'll usually do, I've got a brush that I'll go in there that I keep in my braze kit, and I will pull any shavings that got in there out. We're gonna cut it right at the edge. And there was oil in there, so good thing we did not just unbraze it. That will now pull apart real easy. And yeah, we got, I think once we slide one on, yeah, see all that we got there to work with? Well, one thing we're gonna do here, if you see here, I got my can here, and we're gonna catch this oil. Look at all that oil come out. Yeah, that's not good. Let's take a good look here. Nitrogen purge. Look at that, just coming out. So, yeah, we got to get that oil out of there. Also help purge out any remaining R32 that might be in there. Definitely won't have lung cancer when it's all said and done. Not at all. I think I'm gonna run my regular head here just because I can control it better, get a feel for how much heat it's gonna take to get this thing off. It looks like the same coating that they've got on some of the TXVs from like the Manitowoc. So this, chances are we're gonna heat up the copper first. They wanted you to heat it up from the bottom, just like normal. Got my hand on it to kind of judge how hot it gets. And come on, I have a funny feeling it should let go. Bring the heat into the pocket and come on off. There you go, simple as that. Simple, simple. Yeah, the big thing is nickel or metal will get hot faster than the copper will. As usual, go to your center conductor, I call it conductor, but your center pipe, because it is conducting heat, and heat that up first. This does not require anything special as far as silver. 5% minimum is what it says right in the instructions. And so on this other one, I need to be able to pull that one off. I think I can get away with my flat jaws here. Usually I don't use these for that kind of stuff. I think I'll be able to just slide it off. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. They wanted you to heat up from the bottom up. See how this goes. Hopefully that oil don't burst into flames, which is very possible. Yeah, it's wanting to do it. Look at that, it burns. See, look at that, the refrigerant's not burning. It's the oil. Yeah, that oil is problematic. I got the nitrogen going through it right now. And it should hopefully come right off here in a second. There you go, off it came. Very simple. Now that I've got that out of there, I am going to wipe my pipe really good, sand it up really good, and I'm gonna get in there with some sort of squeegee type device and squeegee that out. I can kill the nitrogen. Like I said, we've purged nitrogen. Oh my gosh, easy there. YouTube, please, easy. So, yeah, not, no carbon in there, but we're gonna wipe it out just in case. So come in here. I don't think any shavings at all came through because all that oil came out and purged it all out. Some high quality Chinese wet resistant sandpaper. I like the stuff with the mesh best. Also, those are the blue rods we've been used, stay sealed. Harris, I think, is here in Ohio. I don't know, just our supply house uses that, New Calgon. They stock some of the refrigeration technology stuff, but you know, it's just one of them things. And here is our OEM fancy new one, the nice yellow indicator. You can get a good look inside here. Yeah, see how that's copper inside there? And then Basically a little motor in there as well. Obviously, it's made in Denmark. Fancy, fancy. You know this was built by a robot. This is really isolated, so I can't see real well up in there. I could probably get the camera out, but either way. So we're gonna clean that up. Debating on maybe adding a little flux so it clears itself a little easier. A little bit of gunk on the bottom. Really looks like they used some decent silver on it. I'm thinking about maybe using better silver on it, honestly. Listen to that loud thing. Be nice if it wasn't. So that should fit right back on there. That should fit right back on there with a little wiggle in maybe. We can heat the pipes up and wipe them. That might be what I have to do. Let's go ahead and purge a little. Just a very small purge through that. We'll wipe this bottom off. Now we'll sand it a little bit again and see if she slides on a little better. There we go. There's a little bit of a lip on that bottom. That's going to stop us from sliding that new one on. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to flux a little bit, heat it up, shove it baby on there and move on. I'm not going to spin forever on this. This is not that complex. Like I said, I only use flux every now and again. I usually like undoing joints with it. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the back here, a little bit. I'm not gonna get it inside the pipe. Do what you want. You don't have to. Not saying you have to. There's off, so there's purge, and there's the other one. One piece of crap. There we go, got it. And of course, bumped the handle again. Let that cool down for a second. Okay, get a little bit of this water on my rag here. We'll wrap it just in case. It didn't even say nothing about wrapping it in the instructions at all. Wrap that sucker right around it. Like that right there. It'd be great if I could hear my torch. I don't like brazing without hearing my torch. But, you know, make it happen. And like I said, I got my hoses getting twisted, and it's a treat. We're bringing it over to the valve. Oh, that shit just flies on. There we go. On and off. Longer rod's a pain in the ass. Grabbing the other end, I feel nothing heat-wise. Grabbing the body, nowhere near hot on the body. The body can go up to 390. I think it was 150 Celsius. So as long as that held, it should be good. Like I said, we are purging. You can see the nitrogen blowing out. Be nice if it wasn't vibrating my mirror. There we go. I think we got it. Looks pretty stellar. A little bit of a goober on the bottom. Had my die grinder that got turned up messing, I'd be able to grind that right off. All right. And that comes up like that. And that'll wiggle in just like that. Fantastic. You know what? It worked good before, so we're gonna do it again. Braze out all the way there. It's gonna just help clean it up. Now, you know what's gonna happen. There we go. Bend it forward. That way it wants to stay in place. And this is where you might want to put a strap on this. Or, better yet, let's just go ahead and put the freaking nuts, bolts back in. That'll keep her from moving. Like I said, we're just purging backwards through this bad boy. Don't want to go fast. You go too fast, you're going to blow oil right back through there. That'd be bad. And then that holds it there like that. And then you can put it like that. There we go. Now she's happy. Biggest thing I've found over the years is not getting too close to the pipe you're trying to keep cool. Otherwise, you're going to prolong the process and usually do more damage than what you were preventing. And if you wanted to make sure the nitrogen's coming through all fancy like, you could probably put one screw, one bolt into this plate, which would slow down the flow on the other side, which really didn't have any problems with it. There we go. It'll create more of a back pressure. Shooting it away. Put most of it on the pipe, getting top and bottom, where everything's uniformed. You can see it coming out over there on the filter dryer. Dang it. That needs to be cut in half. That's way too long. That is half of my problems, fighting that stupid rod hitting everything. That's my stupid fault. So let that cool down for a moment. It goes around it really fast and easy. I mean, it gets hotter than the other copper, so it just wicks in there. And that's how we do it. All right, well, filter dryer and evacuation. Yeah, a little bit of crud in that system. Not horrible. See, there's a screen and then there's a felt. Like I said, I ain't crazy. It's not my first rodeo. I had people tell me that there ain't none of them in there. Well, guess what? Then they're doing a half-ass. Whoever put it together didn't do it right. I mean, whatever. I don't give a crap. Factory employees ain't no better than us. Half of them probably have high turnover. That's half the reason why this equipment's garbage nowadays. It's freaking sad. They charge mega money for this crap, and yet they just can't get good quality people building it. Yeah, little brake cleaner. Put a new gasket in there too. Don't want to be like what I seen last week, where we didn't have, it was never replaced. So we'll get one of those in there. Fancy pick out. Watch how easy this one comes out. I bet it comes out a lot easier than that last one. That last one was a little bit harder than it really needed to be. What's funny is this is at a place that it's at one of the schools. I went to school for electronics my junior year in school. That's the same video from a while back. But yeah, actually one of their main dudes that's on staff here that's in charge of maintenance now, he used to work for us. That's very unusual. That makes me wonder, is there something wrong with it? So we can get our vacuum packed wholesome goodnesses. The RCA 48. Look at all that crap falling out. That really leaves me wondering, should I put another one on there, but I usually don't. Get all that loose gunk off here. Of course, the screen would catch it, but I mean, who wants to rely on the screen catching stuff if you don't need to? I mean, sure, your hands could be contaminated a little bit, but I like this better. And there's so many loose particles in there, man, oh man. And they're gonna get dropped in shipping and stuff like that. All those things are gonna happen. I mean, you can see all that crud up there on there. It's just, that's a lot. Look at that. That's microfiber too. I mean, that stuff's that's gonna go everywhere. Luckily, we don't have to pull vacuum on anything other than the evaporator and the piping. So that'll make it pretty handy. Yeah, we got the good dry rag. I think we're still purging nitrogen, unfortunately. I forgot to turn it off. Clean up my ledges here, because this, like I said, this thing's only a year old. See, that refrigerant comes down through the side, blasts into the outside edges of it, then it has to go through the center of it to get out. So it just, then it has to go around it. There we go. So those are Cormax fittings, which means you can't remove them. So we're going to use the valve core depressor tool to depress it, which will get it wide open flow. That was the whole reason why the factory used these originally. So we're going to use that as our suction side for our hose. That'll get about as much flow as you can get. And then we'll go ahead and use the company's 1/2-inch black Appion hose and their pump, and get this thing evacuated down with the micron gauge over here on our filter dryer, so we know that we've pulled through, and see how long it takes here. Like I said, the blue vac can handle some liquid and stuff. Obviously oil will still be an issue, but for the most part it doesn't damage it, so I don't try to put anything more through it than I need to. So that's why I'm gonna use that as my isolation. You see my line's already changing, and we should be dropping right now. Cool. All right, so I went ahead and turned the system off, told it to stop, and then turned the power off before hooking up the electrical. I didn't want to take a chance. If there's obviously something about it that it doesn't like, I'm gonna follow that direction because I don't want to potentially damage. I don't see how it could, but whatever. We'll just play by their rules here on that part. So same thing again. This time we'll go ahead and valve this one off. Got all the liquid. Now here comes the vapor. Okay, we're just about done on the evacuation, or I should say we're just about done on the recovery, and evacuation's down to 1100. So we're doing really good now. The old field piece recovery machine there does a really good job. It's been pretty reliable. Had one failure on the first one, just stopped out of the blue, but boom, called them, got a brand new one, done. Just to prove I don't hide stuff. See that little spring? It belongs in there. So we just did our first evacuation. We'll go ahead and valve off and purge it with some refrigerant and pull evacuation again. Sound like a good time? Heck yeah. So I gotta take it out of a vacuum first, and since this is a goofball refrigerant, you know, nobody's got the crap. I mean, so we got it at the shop, but I didn't plan on needing it, so I didn't use any. Just break this vacuum real quick with a little liquid, and then I got the valve out on my micron. Back in there like that. Yep, and then I should have known that. That was stupid of me, but it happens. All right, so I didn't get to record the last bit of it because I lost the camera. I literally had to look everywhere for it. I was back in here and I had to get somewhere, and of course I decided to pick that spot way up there to stick it on while I was reaching across to try to get to that compressor. Well, say at least I didn't have it, so I couldn't record. Anyhow, we've got these changed, got them marked, both of them, got the springs in. I need to put a wire tie on this real quick, but yeah, it's all good. We got green and green, pulled vac, isolated, it held, so everything's looking good there on that. But there's more to the story. Supposedly we got some problems with the fans overheating too. It's like I said, it's a new system, so it's got a lot of problems. Nothing we did. I think that's going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit there. The biggest thing is make sure that you either drill it like they tell you to do it or cut it like I did. We'll find out whether that causes a problem with warranty. I don't think it will, because everything they want to see is the resistance, which I guess both of them were screwed up. One was worse than the other. Basically, the valves can't handle the duty cycle where they're constantly being energized, and they've supposedly fixed that with a firmware update. And you know, that's about it. So that wraps it up for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smack the likes button, share it with your grandma, give your uncle a call, and until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.